So we're doing another 2024 election prediction. This time it's going to be Joe Biden, the incumbent president of the United States, highly unpopular right now. He will have a tough time winning re-election as of right now, unless he gets his approval ratings back up. And he is facing off in this scenario against Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is a conservative Republican activist. He is Jewish and extremely pro-Israel, of course. He always appears on news channels, but basically just an activist. He has his own Ben Shapiro show on YouTube, and he's extremely popular and extremely famous, really. So I do think his safe states would be, Trump states in 2016 and 2020. So states like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, the southern states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee. I think he could carry Missouri, West Virginia, and South Carolina, and of course Alaska. And I think Joe Biden would win the safe Democratic states of California, Oregon, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, and New York, and Maine's popular vote, and of course Illinois and Hawaii. So let's get into it. So states like Iowa and Ohio, I think would go to Ben Shapiro because these were states that didn't shift much against Donald Trump in the from 2016 to 2020. And I really do think that these will be, pretty safe Republican states. I think Ben Shapiro would definitely hold on to these, just saying how much it didn't shift from 2016 to 2020. In Indiana, this is a pretty conservative state that I see going to Ben Shapiro. I will point out that I can't see this as a 2008 election, like the old McCain versus the new, young, and cool Barack Obama. Biden, of course, being the old guy. Ben Shapiro being, the young, cool guy. Ben Shapiro is what, I think in 2024 he'd be in his mid-40s, early 40s, I don't know, something like that. But a state like Texas, even if the Democrats win the governorship, even if Beto O'Rourke wins the governorship here, I think it would go to Ben Shapiro just because of how conservative Ben Shapiro is. But I definitely see Ben Shapiro winning the state of Arizona. This is a Biden state in 2020, but I really do think that Ben Shapiro's really conservative roots will play a role here. But states like Nevada, New Mexico, Colorado, I see staying in the Democratic column just because, of how conservative Trump was in 2016 and Hillary Clinton really managed to win these states. So even because of Biden's low approval ratings right now, I think it would stay in the Democratic column if Hillary Clinton could win them in 2016 by, okay margins. Minnesota, the same goes for Minnesota. Hillary stayed in 2016. But a state like Wisconsin, I think, would go to Ben Shapiro because of its conservative roots. It's generally conservative states on the left and the right, or I should say Democrat and Republican. And I think Ben Shapiro, he really will excel in a state like Wisconsin. African Americans, I don't see liking Ben Shapiro at all. So we'll leave Michigan on hold as of right now. And Florida, North Carolina, Trump states in 2020, I see them going to him again because Florida is becoming more Republican as years pass. But really, I see African Americans turning out. Thing is, I see African Americans really hating Ben Shapiro, but I don't see them turning out for Biden because Biden, they think so, and African Americans don't really see Biden keeping his promises for the African American community as he promised during the Trump administration. So I do think that they're not going to turn out for Biden either, and therefore Ben Shapiro will win the state of Georgia. So Ben Shapiro's on the verge of victory. Biden needs every other state to make it a tie, so not even a win yet. Virginia, I think, would go to Joe Biden. Because this sure Glenn Youngkin won the governorship, but I do think that it would have to stay in the Democratic column. I just really do. On presidential elections, they usually stay in the Democratic column. In New Hampshire, though, this is a pretty conservative state, and I think it would go to Ben Shapiro, and he wins with that. It just has really conservative roots, like I mentioned with sorry about that. With Wisconsin, it's just generally conservative state, and it's another state that went to Biden in 2020, but he's not really keeping his promises. Many Democrats believe, and Democrats, is as simple as this, aren't going to turn out for Joe Biden as much, as they did in 2020. And there won't be an anti-Trump vote as much because Donald Trump is not the nominee. Oops, sorry about that. I think Pennsylvania would go to the Republicans because another state where Biden, it's as simple as this, he's not doing well. And even though it's Ben Shapiro, he's very radical. I mean, if Trump could win in 2016, then I think Ben Shapiro could in 2020 or in 2024. He's going to be more likable. In Michigan, African Americans, they're just not going to turn out for Joe Biden as much. Doesn't mean they're going to turn out for Ben Shapiro, but this is another state that does not approve of President Biden. So Ben Shapiro wins with 309 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 229.